Hello everyone, this is ManFaces, and today we're talking about animal settlement defense. So, as you guys probably know, I've been messing around with this a little bit in survival diaries, and basically what I really want to know is how good is it, because I've already found out that it's rather expensive to start and it's rather expensive to maintain, but is it worth it? Because I remember my original playthrough, I was constantly buying shipments of copper in order to support all the rocket turrets for all my settlement. Well, this time we're doing it a little different. As you can see, we have meat farms established, and those give us the raw resources we need to keep the cages. So this video is going to be more of like an overlook, because I still don't have enough data to make a determined decision on whether this is good or not. I will tell you though, I've had a blast messing with this stuff. Some of the things that the animals do around the settlers, classic. Okay, so for this video, we're only gonna focus on 3 animals. If this video goes well, or if we need to know more, we'll talk about the other ones. But the other ones are a little harder to come by, they're a lot more random, and they don't give as much settlement defense. So that alone counts against them heavily. In order to set up animal settlement defense, you're going to need 2 things. First, you're going to need the ability to craft the beta wave emitter. It's heavily influenced by charisma and slightly expensive to make in each of your settlements, so that alone is a big risk. But then at the same time, you also have to set up meat farms around the Commonwealth. And that can get kind of pricey as well, depending on how you're doing things. So I guess it really depends on whether you just want to try it, or whether you want to go on ahead and spend all that copper trying to get it set up. Okay, so I just want to list off some pros and cons real quick. The pros I've already said pretty much is that this is cheap settlement defense. The cons, all of the items that you need to get it going are rather fragile, namely the power source that the beta wave emitter is linked to and the beta wave emitter itself. Now, I don't have enough data to determine whether or not enemies will target the beta wave emitter. All I know is that it is destructible. I do believe that they will try to target the generator, but will they target it over priority of a generator powering settlement defense? See, you know, I'm not sure how it's coded because it came in as DLC. So animal settlement defense comes in a number of flavors. For this video, we're just going to focus on the 3. The first one I want to talk about are death claws, namely because they seem to be the most appealing, with their 10 settlement defense and relative ease to get. I did have to set up about 2 farms to have enough meat to just constantly get the death claws, but at the same time I'm getting like mythic death claws, you know, so it just seems like they would be the go-to settlement defense. But as with everything, there are some pros and cons. The pros, you know, they're death claws. They're strong, they're durable. One thing I should mention is that the animals do not heal themselves after attacks. As time goes on and they constantly get whittled down, eventually they're gonna die. So you can't just farm yourself up 10 death claws and say, okay, I'm done. You're gonna need to be actively seeking replacements, and then when a death claw gets a little too old, you might have to put him down in favor of, you know, his son or, you know, next of kin. Now, a large con to the death claws is that they're very loud, because they do their territorial swipes and their stomps like constantly in your settlement. Now, what I was thinking about doing is building a settlement on raised platforms and keeping all the animals underneath it. That way, you know, the settlers and you can kind of hang out above the chaos. But, you know, knowing settlers, they'll be right there with the animals. I don't know, the animals don't give happiness, but at the same time it seems like the settlers are more at ease with the animals versus the turrets and stuff. Like maybe it's more realistic settlement defense. The second animal I want to talk about, and one of the hardest to mass produce, is the rad scorpion. Rad scorpion cages are made with stingwing fillets, And while you can find relatively good supplies of stingwings in the Commonwealth, the cages system leaves something to be desired, namely the insect cages, because of their randomness and their expense to make, because you would need mole rat meat, and the two kind of support each other. I don't understand why the mole rat cages just didn't want generic insect meat. Why did it need rad roach meat? It just seems funny to me. But anyways, rad scorpions, I kind of like them because they're a lot quieter and they like to lurk. Even if you have a settlement with high grasses, they'll actually go to the high grasses and just kind of burrow down and hide it out. They're hardy fighters. They're very durable. The only thing I don't like is that they only give 7 settlement defense, and I think they should have gotten at least 8, because they actually match up with another animal that comes next on our countdown. So, pros: quiet, sleek, powerful, ready to ambush. I've seen the rad scorpions in a couple of engagements, and they fight hard. They fight real hard, even against numerable opponents. If you guys, have come up against rad scorpions, you know what I'm talking about. A con, and honestly the biggest thing that's counting against them, because honestly I would have went with rad scorpions because they're just so much more quiet, but they're just so expensive to get. Unless you can find a way to reliably get stingwing fillets, which I'm thinking that maybe you just have to hit the glowing sea every once in a while and farm that area around Virgil's cave, because there are quite a few of them out there. The last animal I'm going to talk about is one of the easiest to obtain, although their growl combined together is deafening. Of course, we're talking about the Yao Guai bear. So if you guys seen my Yao Guai settlement build video, yeah, those guys are very loud, but they're also very powerful, and I believe that they're probably your best match in going up against super mutants in the early game. I think the death claws are in game, but you need the Yao Guai to get the death claws, so why not have a Yao Guai defense settlement as they fall off, save the meat, and then put it towards death claw cages. Although you can't do it at the same settlement, which is, it's a little disheartening, I will say. So, the usual pro: hardy fighters, hardy constitution, and capable of one-shotting things. Humans, they don't really pose too much threat to Yao Guai bears. It'd mostly be like super mutants and things of that nature. The con, and honestly they only have one because they're really cheap to make. Honestly, the Yao Guais are the cheapest for settlement defense because they only require rad stag meat, and that stuff is pretty easy to come by considering all it needs is carrots. And as you can see, our rad stag farm is just blowing up now. I've even changed it over to settlement defense because we had so much of it. I believe I had like 63 pieces of it, and that just was me going back there every once in a while, emptying the 4 cages and resetting them. As I said before, I'm seriously unsure about my stance on all of this, namely because of the expense of the perks needed to get the beta wave emitter, the amount of work needed to set up the farms, and just the sheer cost of everything seems to be a little bit overwhelming, considering I could just build me a rocket turret. But I do admit that if I didn't have the gun nut perk, then this would be more viable to me. So maybe this is for people who don't have access to the higher tier settlement defenses. Me personally, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have animals and turrets because it just seems like a good way to support the two. Although I do think rocket turrets will damage the animals, but I can always use the extra meat. So what do you guys think? I'm gonna test it some more, and I'm also looking for more real world applications, so that's why I got it going in the survival diaries. But at this point, man, it's still kind of up in the air. So I want you guys to put your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the system and what would you like to see, because we can try anything. I'm kind of thinking about an insect farm because they can swarm. Although they're only 2 settlement defense, they might come hard. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. Like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for more fun. It's Man Faces signing out. Take care.